It was so beautiful. When he get the thing in the
You left out the Mark Hamill grunts.
Ooh, ah, ee, oh, ooh.
As good an actor as he is, as soon as he does that, it's like Joker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one, this performance. I mean, sometimes you get certain people for their voices, and you want that type of voice. So obviously, they wanted a very evil, sort of subtle-sounding Joker. Like, it's very Mark Hamill. Just like, you know, if you get Stephen Bloom or Johnny Young Bosch, or sometimes you want to
soaking up the evil.
Yeah, you want that evil, but like, you know, it's hidden well enough until he gets into a fight, and then you get it.
Batman, stop!
So yeah, God, actually, it really is weird to think like it's done. It's like actually done.
No more left.
No more left. But yeah, so okay. The big finale, man.
To think the cabbage salesman was behind it the whole time.
I know, and when he rigged the train to crash to find the Avatar's secret powers,
he was secretly Mr. Glass.
Yeah, and then it turns out that Katara was dead the whole time. You know,
that's what I told him the ending was going to be.
And that you know, that one episode where they all got sick, that was just the trees trying to kill them.
This whole kingdom actually exists in our world.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, it's our
actually
modern
current time.
world. It just seems like it's back in time because the people who are running the Earth Kingdom of Ba Sing Se and everything are controlling all the information, so we don't realize it's modern time. But when Katara goes out to get medicine, she nearly gets hit by a car.
And the painted lady in the water, that really threw me for a loop too.
Yeah. Yeah.
After Earth. So, okay, let's actually talk about the fucking episode. You have sort of like... Okay, so it's sort of a deus ex machina a little bit, you know, because it's like the turtle does something to him, but you don't know what, and it's this...
Dude, a deuce?
How do you say...
A douche? Did you just say
not douche? Deus ex machina.
Deuce?
You know, we haven't pronounced any of the characters' names right. I'm not going to start now, okay, with actual phrases.
Now you're confusing me.
Okay, let's just get to the episode. Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's Deus Ex Machina.
Okay, you're probably right on that. So, if not, they'll hunt us like dogs. So, okay, so you got... He does the whole thing with the energy, and he's taken his energy away from him, something that the lion turtle, whatever that was, gave to him, a special gift, and... When it happened, unbelievably impressive. I get the colors, the lighting, and even just like when they're doing the firebending, when Azula's doing the firebending, it glows blue. I mean, just like everything goes shadow, everything goes blue, and it all matches like just a little pillar in the background, like it reflects off of there. I mean, just wonderful detail in this. And so you got this incredible scene. You know, he takes away his firebending, and at first I was like, okay, I guess. I sort of was hoping maybe it was something like you could actually figure out, sort of, you know, again.
So like 50% of the fans out there.
Well, no, it's like out of left field, but the reason I think it works...
No, you can have your opinion, that's fine.
No.
There is a split, so...
I think it works, though, because I think they're implying that we've gotten to a point in time where things have been so thrown out of balance that things have to come back to this balance, that it seemed like here's a creature, this, you know, lion turtle, whatever that was thing.
Though you completely wrecked that every time it cut to him and you went, "Grr, grr, roar."
Get him up a tongue, give him a left, give him a right. So...
Such a dick.
It seems like this looks like an ancient creature of bajillion BC, you know, I mean, just looks unbelievably old, and it almost looks like it came back to sort of help restore balance by giving him this tool that was needed, because things have gotten so bad, and they were about to get a million times worse. And everything about this show seems to be about balance, that things are thrown out of balance, the yin and the yang, but now it's really going to go to a point where it could never come back.
Dogs and cats living together, man.
Mass hysteria! So, it's just a point where it couldn't come back. And and this was the way of finally intervening something where it could come back. So, and on top of that, I thought it was done so effectively well. I mean, it's like something out of this really big grand movie, just this big epic, and
That's
it took its time.
This is all my interpretation. So what are we going to argue about?
So, I'm trying to, and okay, so, where's my mother? Oh, I'll tell you, in this 3-part comic, now available, part 3.
Starting with the promise.
The promise, just 1 big cock tease. 2, getting a little closer. 3, you'll have to see we have the balls to fake you out again.
Avatar: The Last Cock Tease.
The last ball bender. So yeah, I mean that's from a show standpoint, I do sort of go, really? With that, because where's my mother? Let's go get tea. It's like, wait a minute.
I wonder how much of this is, I keep reading and I've never been able to get the full story, how much this is on Nick for... I heard rumor that it was supposed to be a 4-season show, it ends up being 3, knowing what happened with Korra, how that they only got greenlit apparently for 1 season, they're like, no, it's 3, and like, having seen it, I won't say anything, but like, you can tell it... I don't know, does Nickelodeon not realize when they've got a really good, like, product on their hands and they just don't have faith in it?
Well,
or...
I mean, like so many things. And this
I don't know if that's what happened here, but it seems to be this pattern with them, you know. So maybe that was.
I mean,
part of it.
I'll go into that when we. I mean, we should do probably like just a show sum up at the end too. But yeah, just as a show in general, I mean, there's always stuff that's like. You know, a lot of stuff comes back, which is really ingenious and really smart. It's like, oh, cool how that all came back and tied together. You know, some things don't, which is fine. It's a show, and we really... The fact that we're expecting that at all now just shows how high they raised the bar. But to end a show on Where's My Mother, and even if it cut there, it's like, ooh, what are they building up to? And even if it's nothing, it's like, oh, well... And the fact that he says, where's my mother? And they just cut to him having tea. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what's the scene we skipped?
Editor!
Yeah, it's like...
it was like watching Man of Steel. It's like, we skipped
He lands on
something.
Earth, he's a grown man on a boat.
Okay.
So
Having tea.
Yeah, so like, that's the only thing I was just sort of like, well, that's odd. But... No, everything else I thought really tied nice together. Again, just the animation, the colors in this. I mean, just like the last shot of the clouds and all the various colors worked out nice. I love the way everything seemed to come together. I love seeing Zuko as the Fire Lord. I love seeing where Mei and Ty Lee went. I love seeing all the characters. I mean, it's so happy. It's one of those fucking happy endings where you sort of wish it'll never end. Just like, oh, but what happened to this character? Now what happened to this
unlike
character?
Return of the King, where you're wishing
like,
it would.
Stop!
Yeah, I was like, this is the opposite problem of Return of the King. I kind of wish this went on longer.
Yeah, so, but that's what you want. You want, leave them wanting more. Yeah, actually, so much of it was sort of like half was the finishing climax, and the other half was the epilogue, showing what happened to everybody, which I'm fine with. But
I want Uncle Ira to say,
My friends, you bow to no one.
and the fight scenes again with the Fire Lord and Aang, wonderful. I mean, just the. When he goes to the Avatar state, and just I love getting the air and the fire and the
spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know. God. So no, I love the way it ended. I thought it was really wonderful, and it seemed like just that massive ending you wanted, and maybe. You know, like I said, when I first saw it, I was sort of like, well, what if... I was hoping it's something I could figure out, but maybe it wouldn't be quite as epic. Maybe because you got the ending where Katara freezes Azula, and then sort of that's the calculating one, you know, freeze and then use her power to slowly bend through, grab the chain and tie her down and stuff. Like, that's really clever. That's the using your brain one. You know, this one is the big, giant, epic symbol.
Sokka and Toph and Suki too. There was a lot of thinking on your feet and using your brains in that battle as well.
Yeah, so and now we have the battle that's supposed to be sort of the big... You know, the big cool effect and the big rule breaker, essentially. Hey, here's something we haven't told you about, but we're throwing something new at you that you didn't expect and couldn't see coming. So I'm fine with that, because we had 2 other climaxes where they did use their heads, and they did show all the things that they could use to defeat them, and that's what they used. So I was fine with that.
I had to think hard about it, because at first I was in a similar boat of, I wasn't calling it a straight-up Deus Ex Machina, but I was like, it's Deus Ex Machina-esque.
Yeah.
And I came around pretty quickly, because I started thinking about the whole show, and I'm like, okay, think about it beginning to end. And the more and more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, no, this makes total sense within the world they presented. The second you give us a world where you can bend things, because people are like, well, they came out of nowhere, it's like being solved by magic.
You're already living in the world of magic.
Were you not watching the show?
Well,
There already was
and
magic.
they showed how long it was around. They got the idea of enchanted creatures and magic creatures and stuff like that, and how long a lot of these things and people can last.
Yeah, it worked really well. My only criticism of it is this. The reason I think it seems like a Deus Ex Machina is because it was so thrown at you so quickly.
If they threw that creature in earlier, possibly.
And I know people are going to come up and be like, well, there's hints everywhere. There's a picture of a turtle in the background in episode 15 or so. It's like...
Yeah, sorry, I've checked that out.
the turtle is showing up in places in the background, but...
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I mean, that's cool, but...
I know it's
that's
not like...
enough.
It's not showing you
that's
this
a
is
cool...
possibility.
That's an Easter egg. That's
Yeah.
not, but, so the way it was thrown at you so quickly, it gives that impression. But I was, like, thinking about how the story was progressing. I was like, okay, everything they did. From the very beginning, you can bend the elements. The world is out of balance. There are spirit guides and spirit animals in this entire spirit world. You've basically set up this concept, particularly when Aang is involved, that it seems like nature is going out of its way to help him. That the issue is the universe is out of balance, and it seems like, considering the luck they have, and considering the communication he had, we've established the spirit world with the giant panda monster and this and that, we've got the dragons, but if you establish that, it looks like the universe and nature itself is trying to help him, and therefore it's just a giant metaphor. People were just like, well, the answer just showed up to him. It was like, how many times has that not happened in your life? Every once in a while, you'll sit down and be like, I don't know what to do, and then poof,
Well, it seems
it comes
like
to you, or you get just good luck or something fortuitous.
there's a lot of these stories that sort of like, whatever, Narnia or Dune, or, these shows that, or these stories where it's like the prophecy and the chosen one and the one said to lead us to blah, blah, blah. And I used to like them, but now I've gotten really out of it. I think they're just tired and boring, and they sort of take out the idea of choice. But what I've found with something like this, and I thought this did very well, is that it doesn't seem like, hey, here's the one person that's going to bring balance and everything. It seems like, no, the universe has a way of working its way. Things will get thrown out of alignment, but it'll come back. It's
The story is
circle.
Taoistic. It's the yin-yang.
Yeah.
So...
he's one of the elements that really pushes it, but it's still just all coming around. Everything seems to be coming around to help him.
From the very beginning, that was there. And that's why when I was talking about this split that happens in the group way back when, and you were just like, well, don't you think Katara's kind of wasting her time healing all these people, and isn't that a legitimate point? And, I couldn't say too much about it, but this is what I meant of like, no, because this is exactly the point of the show, which is... for every person who's like Zuko or Ozai or Azula or even the good-intentioned people who are just like, no, kill him. Aang and Katara represent the side that is like, no, there has to be another way. And unlike some prophecy stories, I thought this was profoundly about choice.
Yeah, no, and that's what I like.
And I've read a lot of criticisms from people who are just like, well, I didn't like it because Aang, basically the lesson it's teaching children is that children should just neglect their responsibilities and their duties, and clearly Aang had to do something for the greater good and he avoids it this whole time. I was like, when? Show me at what point he said, I'm not going to do what's right for the greater good. The Lion Turtle Island thing calls to him, and he at no point runs away from Ozai. He just says, I have to sit and think about this.
And he uses his resources. He uses the resources that is given to him, and he finds a new way. He breaks. He gets this peaceful way by breaking a rule, actually breaking the destiny that everyone says you should kill him.
All of the adults in the room, and this was something I thought was very powerful, almost comically so, about the Star Wars trilogy, the original one, and it's something that this one does here, which is why I think they do have some similarities. Whether it was on purpose or not, I don't know. I think this is great. I have no problem with it if it's kind of like Star Wars, but all of the adults in the room in both of these sort of incarnations are the ones who are just like, nah, kill him. Think of Obi-Wan, Yoda, then the Emperor's already won. You have to in this case, all of his past lives, kill him. Zuko, kill him. Even Sockeye thinks like, you should probably kill him. And Aang says, no, I'm not going to do it. And all these people are just like, well, the greater good, he has to kill him, I'm just going to say this. How many things in this world have gone catastrophically wrong because of the greater good? How people did not question that maybe what we think is the greater good may not be the right way. And far from being a bad example for children, this is the best damn example I can think of, because he doesn't shirk his responsibilities. He did that at the beginning. He froze himself in ice. He doesn't do that again. Instead, he sits there and he says, you know what? I don't have to accept what the adults are telling me, not because I'm being told to go to bed early or do my homework, but because fundamentally I'm being told this is wrong. All the kids who end up being raised as racist or taught to bully or, had they been taught at an early age to just question that, what a better world this would be.
The Huck Finn, well, I guess I'll go to hell line. I mean, just because the world is telling you one thing doesn't...
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example.
Right.
This is like, oh, well, if you're not racist like the rest of us, then you'll go to hell. I guess in the Bible it says, well, then I guess I'll go to hell. I mean, that's basically what Aang is doing. He's like, in my heart, in my soul, this is wrong.
Now my question is, I haven't seen Legend of Korra, but... Okay, Avatar dies 3 more times. What the hell is he going to be reincarnated as?
What do you mean?
Well, the Airbenders are all gone.
Well, the cycle goes, so the next one's going to be water.
Yeah, exactly, but when he dies 3 more times, he's going to come around to airbending again. What the hell's going to happen then?
Well, he's an airbender.
And Katara's going to shift? Listen, Katara, we gotta get some other airbenders here.
This is what kills me.
We got understanding.
Because if I told you or answered...
It's for the greater good!
No, this is what kills me, because if I told you or answered that question, these clowns out here would be like,
okay.
Spoilers! I can't believe you spoiled it!
Okay.
I'm not going to say, but it...
Well, it's already sort of like confused with me, because it's like, if you die in the Avatar state, the Avatar can never come back, and it's like, well, and he dies, and it's like, Legend of Korra, the next Avatar. I'm like, oh? So... I'll wait and see if it answers that too. I get.
Well, what do you mean if he dies in the Avatar state?
That's what they said. They said, if you die in the Avatar state, though, the Avatar will never be reincarnated. He dies in the Avatar state, and so he'll go, and he dies. He comes back, but he still fucking dies.
Well, I thought he was healed by Katara, wasn't he?
No, but he's like dead. And lightning goes kaboo, and she used her magic bring back to life water.
Ah, but you see, he's only half dead.
Yeah, I mean, so why have that in there if that wasn't the case?
I didn't think he was really dead. I thought Katara...
Because that's what the water does. It brings him back to life.
Okay, so if you fall over dead now, that'd be awesome. But no, no. If you fall over dead now, besides taking over the site, I would at least attempt to revive you because it's on camera. Now, if that happened and I had like a defibrillator or something, and I'm like clear, and you wake up. Yeah, you were dead technically, but you're still alive.
No, but
I think it only counts.
No, why have that plot device in here if it never really comes into play, except for a little coulda? That's really what I thought. I thought when they killed him, it's like, oh my god, so this is like the last one. This is really the last balance that we could possibly have to this. And then I hear, oh no, he'll be back. He'll come back.
You need dramatic tension.
So I mean, that's the only thing I figure. I mean, because to me that was like the biggest plot thread. Like, holy shit! Like when they said that, I'm like, wow, like
Why?
everything's just been
I mean,
upped big
okay,
time.
If we're
and it's like,
nitpicking, then why does Sozin go to save Roku and then just decide in the middle of I changed my mind?
I didn't get that either.
There are very few things I can nitpick about
I know.
this show,
I mean,
but
that's,
yeah, when I saw that,
again,
I'm just
when,
like,
we argue about this, we're arguing about a Nickelodeon show,
Yeah.
and we're arguing about like the yin and yang and
don't say
Taoism
that.
and
They don't
stuff
like
on a
that either when you say
Nickelodeon
it's a
show.
Nickelodeon
I
show.
don't care. Nickelodeon has never put out something this incredible, and I'm going to say put out more incredible things. You're doing Legend of Korra, which I haven't seen, but I hear is awesome. And yes.
Well, here's a question.
Yeah, I'm saying the show is raising the bar. It's raising Nickelodeon to a whole new level, and good for Nickelodeon.
Another thing, because I've been talking about this back and forth on my fan Facebook, a number of people had an issue with the fact that it's Zuko and Katara versus Azula instead of just Zuko and Azula. What did you think?
There's enough mano-y-mano. I mean, I think it's... so much of what Zuko has done has been alone. So I think the idea of having somebody else by his side and allowing her to come in, especially someone that wanted nothing to do with him and turn him aside and said, I will never be anything with you.
It's another redemption story.
Yeah, so I was okay with it.
I think something people were just like, oh, no, it needs to be the two of them together. I'm going to call and say, I'm not convinced that either of them would have won if it was just one-on-one. If you look at the way that battle's going, I mean, there is something metaphorical going, like, this whole thing kind of runs on metaphor in the last episode, and one of the metaphorical things going on with those three is when it's Zuko versus Azula, it's fire versus fire. It just seems like this could go on.
Yeah. I was saying that no, the battle, fire versus water, technically, Katara should win.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And when Azula, by being there, Katara makes herself a target, but that allows Azula to basically cheat. As far as I thought, in Agni Kai was basically just mano-a-mano, one person on one person.
Yeah, that's when she tries to kill
She
Katara.
suddenly involves somebody else, and when the second that happens, Zuko gets hit, but that means the gloves are off. Katara can do whatever the hell she wants. This is not just a battle. And yeah, you're right. Water defeats fire.
Well, and the other thing, too, that I think is playing in so well is that you have, these people, they always say, you show mercy, you're weak. And these people have shown mercy. Zuko has shown mercy, and now he has people to help him. He has Katara to help him out. Zula has nobody. She's banished everybody. Nobody wants to help her. It practically looks like she banished the city. I'd have my guards seize you if I didn't banish them all.
She's like Jack Lemmon's character in The Great Race. Banished.
So I think that's a great testament too, because again, I was talking about before where it's like, as much as it's like cool if the bad guy goes out in a bad way, when you really get down to it, so many times it's like if you just leave them alone, it's like they usually are self-destructive and they will sort of destroy themselves, and a lot of that is because they have nobody.
Friendship.
Yeah, there was nobody to support her. There was nobody on her side because there was never any kindness.
Exactly.
So no, I actually think that worked out very well. I thought that was very well handled.
I will say one of the things is when I first saw this, I think I posted on Facebook, I'm like, this whole climax plays out like Return of the Jedi minus all the damn Muppets. I'm like, it's the best of all worlds.
Yeah, no, it really is.
I'm just like, this really reminds me of like Return of the Jedi if you removed the Ewoks, and I was like, when?
So, yeah, wonderful ending. I love the way this all came to a giant climax, beautifully animated. I thought everything was fulfilled, except for the mother thing, but that's... they're doing their thing,
Where's
whatever, the
my
comic, whatever. She's in the tea house. Oh, let's go. Or tea uncle.
All right, I'm just gonna cop to it. I have no idea where she is.
Yeah, I guess just final thoughts on the show altogether.
It is a show such as never has been nor never will be again. I thought it was amazing. It could go toe-to-toe with... I mean, it is anime influence. I would say go toe-to-toe with any anime. Toe-to-toe with any cartoon show in the U.S. One of the best cartoon shows the United States has produced. I mean, when I think of the great shows, Batman the Animated Series, Gargoyles, this. Actually, what it reminds me of is from Nickelodeon's early days, Mysterious Cities of Gold. The way it had this sort of.
Well, I think that was French, but yeah.
Well, that was a French-Japanese, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Nickelodeon ran it. They didn't produce it. But, yeah, it reminded me of that, where you had this group of kids, and it was this epic adventure.
Yeah, that's true. When they were sort of taking stuff from wherever,
yeah.
It's like Nickelodeon's not very associated with comedy, which is fine, but there was a time where it was very much, sort of comedy and it was sort of this just mythical, wondrous thing, and you weren't, it was sort of a grab out of everything.
And I don't know if you, because I've seen maybe half your vlogs, I don't know if it's been touched upon in depth, but what a great show for girls.
Yeah.
All of the female characters in this show not only go toe-to-toe with the boys, but are just as compelling, and you don't even think about it.
Yeah, see, that's
so
the best to me.
Well written
is
into
that
the
it doesn't
plot.
even. Every once in a while, you get that episode. It's like girls can't do this, and it's sort of like okay,
I
fine,
sit through things like Brave, which I didn't get at all.
just like in your face.
And yeah, it is so just hammering this thing in. And I think of other shows like I want to say maybe like Captain Planet or no, the reboot of Ghostbusters they did a while back where they got this group of hipster people. And
was that the wheelchair one?
Yeah, one guy
I
was in a wheelchair one, but it was such how do I describe it? Because I have no problem if you want to get different personalities, races, creeds, abilities together, but it seems so contrived.
It was the token. It was the token.
And you look at, it would just seem like a bunch of tokens, and you look at this where you've got a character like Toph, a blind girl who kicks ass, and I think most importantly, her, what you would call like a disability or, a disadvantage or something, being blind, is her greatest asset.
Yeah.
And every character has it. Every character has something. A lot of
working
them have
within your
something-
weakness.
Yeah, working within something that the universe has dealt you and turning it into something really, really powerful.
Yeah, to turn your weakness into your strength, essentially.
And they run the full gamut. I mean, Toph's a tomboy. You've got Suki, she's a warrior who also falls in love. You've got Katara, who's the healer and the moral center. You've got Azula, what a great villain. You've got Mei and Ty Lee. Those two alone just each have their distinct personalities. This is incredible.
Yeah, I sort of say it's like, for me, this is sort of like Game of Thrones for kids, in a sense. It's like, like, hey, kids, you want to see what we like about Game of Thrones, but we can't show you yet because you'll shit your pants for a week? Watch Avatar.
What, you mean you don't think kids should see rats trying to claw through somebody's chest?
Just nailing heads on spikes and stuff like that. Here's a more kid-friendly version of that. So, yeah, for me, honestly, this is my new favorite show. I mean, it used to be Daria, but no, it's like this is it, man. This is the all-encompassing everything show. It has comedy, it has adventure, it has suspense, it has drama, it has, great commentary, it has philosophy, it has wonderful animation, it has wonderful characters, it has a wonderful story. Nothing in it is not wonderful.
And it doesn't betray its ethics.
No.
All the people are just like, I wanted Aang to kill him at the end. I'm just like, I don't think you got it.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. I just don't think you got it.
And this is going to...
Watch it again, and we'll talk. But
and this is coming from someone who, I said very honestly, I didn't know it was going to get me in trouble or not, but I said I'm one of those people where I don't always believe that violence is never the answer. And even Aang at some point sort of backtracked. It's like, violence is never the answer. Then the next episode, he's sort of like, I only use violence in self-defense. It's like, well, it's like that shows, it can be done.
It's like saying I want Luke to just take down Vader and the Emperor with one swing of
chop
the
his head off
lightsaber.
and stuff like that.
Doesn't work that way. I don't think you're understanding what's...
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. You sort of miss... You're enjoying the action, missing everything else, if that's the case. I thought it was so well balanced. I thought... Talk about a show and a world that completely took advantage of what it had to not just the nth degree, but just beyond what it could do and what people probably perceived it. And I'm just amazed, and I purposely stayed away from commentary and anyone talking about, so I could be surprised, see what happens. Now, I want to know all I can about like how this show was made, how the creators of this made this happen, because this does not happen Not that I'm like an aficionado on current kids films or kids films of like what the past 8 years, something like that. Whenever this came
shows
out.
of this quality.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Even Batman the Animated Series, it's not a flaw because the creators made it that way. It's a flaw in the nature of what Batman is that you can't have sort of one long story arc.
yeah.
It doesn't work with Batman. It has to be episodic. Closest in that category would probably be the X-Men cartoon, the first season.
Yeah, which even then that's hokey and it has its problems and stuff.
But yeah,
I
this
love
sort
it,
of thing
but
just-
no. This was just like
This is a rarity.
And
the Asian too. I mean,
and the fact that it caught on so much. I mean that. For lack of a better term, that really gives me hope. And I'm not in a place I'm like, oh, humanity has let us down. I'm not there at all, even remotely. But it does give me so much hope for not just adults, but the kids watching this. That kids watch this, they enjoy it, they want to see more. And
are you listening,
so
Nickelodeon? Are you hearing this?
well, I mean, they don't let you a core. I mean, so it's like we
Yeah, but it took forever just to get that off the ground, and even then
Well,
it's
but
like, well, we'll give you one. Oh, I guess we'll give you one. It's
Well,
like,
but I have no
stop dicking around with this.
I have no idea how long this show took to make. My guess would be this took a very long time to put
No,
together.
I'm not talking
I mean,
about that. I
yeah.
just mean from everything I've read, it's just like, oh, well, we'll give you one season. They're like, oh, I guess we'll give you more than that. I'm like, why wouldn't you greenlight 3 or 4 seasons of a sequel series to Avatar on faith alone?
Well, we've seen them try to do Pirates of the Caribbean and other stuff, but I tend to agree. It's like, at the very
because
least,
the
give them
creative
two.
team behind Pirates was as good as this.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. Is that, no, they're just looking at it from a marketing standpoint, I'm sure, though. But I agree. Going in, it's like you should have, especially knowing how the last one did, you should have an idea, a couple seasons at least.
You would think.
You would think so. No, it's raised the bar for me in terms of like just what you see in terms of animation and kids shows. It just shows in general, honestly. It has so taken me back. I think I mentioned this early on, but I'll just say it again. It really took me back to that excitement and that joy that I used to really feel when I was a kid again, when just being so invested, but also having so much fun.
That's
while
why I
being in
said
there.
Mysterious Cities of Gold, because that was the one that I always would come home from school, like when I was in the 2nd grade or something, and try to throw on because I just wanted to know what was going on or what was happening. And
I think so much of our entertainment now is, I don't want to say too adult, because I think this is very adult, but I think there is sort of that element of fun that we're purposely trying to leave out because either a show wants to be taken seriously or maybe we're too cynical and we don't want to
I think cynical
have
is the right
something
word.
goofy or silly. But this show's found such a perfect balance. It just shows it can be done, it can be done very well, and it should be done more often. So I was just blown away by this show.
to me, a good
It's
kid
my new favorite show.
To me, a good kid show should give you a sense of ethics that is very adult.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing. I think...
Well, why talk down about the most important essential
Yeah.
elements?
Which is why I thought Aang's solution, that split that happens between Aang and Katara, was so key. Is because that is what an adult should really do. We get stuck in this violent mindset of just like, no, we can kill him. Oh, we can fight fire with fire. And it just keeps perpetuating itself.
We're very
again and again.
vengeful.
And people are just like, well, that's the adult thing to do. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's the vengeful thing.
That's
to do.
the vengeful, petty thing to do.
That's the
you know.
childish thing. Honestly, I
Yeah.
even though I don't like violence, I say violence is the route when you can't find anything else. When you're not smart enough to find anything else. I mean, there is no other solution, but it still comes down to you were not smart enough to find anything else. And we do. And I, not that I've killed anybody, but, when I've resorted to violence or something like that,
Not
which
again,
again
anyway.
is, yeah, not twice. Phew. But no, it's one of those things where it's like, I would acknowledge I was not strong enough or smart enough to find the right solution. And we do have failings, and the show shows it's okay to have failings, and you can come back from them. Even a couple failings, like in the case of Zuko and Aang, for that matter.
And if somebody tells a 12-year-old that you have to kill somebody, maybe you don't have to listen to them.
Yeah. Good lesson, kids.
Good lesson. If your past lives tell you to kill somebody, maybe there's another way.
So,
But, I mean, that's the brilliance of Lucas, of the writers of this show is religion. When you look at the teachings of all the major religious leaders, it's really, really hard. That's what makes it really adult.
And it's like, no, it's so simple. No, not. Then you
No.
haven't lived enough life.
I think if you look at the teachings of Jesus, of Buddha, of Allah, or Muhammad, and you can go on and on, but, most of them, it's insanely difficult to live a life completely unselfish without resorting to violence,
if it was easy, why would they be teaching it?
Yeah. And so everybody's like, oh no, Aang found the easy way out. I was like, no, he didn't. The easy way out would have been just freaking kill him.
Yeah.
And not bat an eye and be like, game over.
I mean, it's so much easier to destroy than it is to create.
Yeah.
And he found the creative way
That
out
whole
of it.
Fire Nation, I think, would have looked at him and was like, oh, well, here's a coup. Somebody just took over and, I think by sparing him, and letting him live, I think it sets a better example. And by planting the seeds with the dance party.
All comes full circle.
All comes full circle to the dance party. But, what Katara was doing, it's a way better example. So, way more adult than I think some people give this show credit for.
So, yeah, pretty much, now we got the Shyamalan movie to look forward to.
Oh, you are
I'm so excited.
You are in for a treat.
So that, I'll tell you right now, I shot, so the next review is going to be an editorial. After that, I shot a review in Con Bravo. That's going to be next, because that was a big review I shot with a lot of producers, so that's coming up. Then another editorial, and then, I'll go right into Last Airbender with that. And
I can't wait. I've seen it already. It's, oh God.
Aside from that, a lot of people have been asking me to do Legend of Korra. Am I going to do Legend of Korra vlogs?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, why not?
I order you too.
There's no reason not
good.
to. If it's the same people that did this, I'm interested in anything these people
Actually, it'll be
touch.
nice because after the first season, if you catch up in time, we can watch it together, and I don't have to hear shit about like you just gave it away.
Yeah, well, no, that's part of the fun too. Was watching this was not looking at the comments and not knowing anything about it, and staying away from anything I knew about it because then I could come at it not being influenced by anybody.
Yeah, but the beauty of it
and that's
is,
part of the
anyway,
fun.
though, you forget things one day later anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
It doesn't really matter.
So, so that's coming up. Avatar, my new favorite show. Still a crappy movie with blue cats, but my new favorite show.
Still one of my favorite shows.
So, awesome. Take care, guys. It's been a lot of fun.